Good morning, Gen Pop. Alright, so this morning's video is going to be pretty cut and dry. If you haven't figured it out based on the title, it's going to be about ownership. Ownership of one's mistakes, ownership of one's triumphs, just ownership in general. So, most of the time growing up, we as children don't like to have ownership of our mistakes or our downfalls, which is understandable. You know, growing up, you accidentally spill some juice, or you forget to do your homework, or the trash bag explodes, or whatever. Somebody else's fault. Usually the dog gets blamed for most of that. Okay. That's fine if you're a child. Again. However, once you become that adult or anything like that, I personally would say it's time to start taking ownership for whatever you do. I mean, it's not, it may not be the cool thing or the thing that you want to do, because nobody likes to admit that they screwed up. Nobody likes to admit that they failed to do something that they were told to do or whatever, but it's life. You learn from your mistakes and you move forward. Without those mistakes, you don't know what you did wrong or how to correct them. It's all a learning experience. Same thing can be said in the military. We're human. We're not perfect in any way, shape, or form. We may not be expected to make mistakes because we are a cut above the rest, quote unquote. But if we do make mistakes, take ownership of those mistakes, admit to the fault, take your verbal lashings and move forward. If nothing else, by showing that you took ownership of the mistake, you showed to your superiors or whoever charged you with that, one, you have a higher maturity level because you're willing to admit fault and correct those actions that, weren't done, I guess, to their specifications. So recently we had a brand new addition stop on by, and when doing the required inventory of items, noticed that, all right, they're missing quite a few things. Some of the stuff, whatever, okay? Nail clippers, lip balm. I mean, not an end-all, be-all sort of thing right there, right? You can go a couple days without clipping your nails unless you have super fast-growing nails, which, hey, whatever. It happens. We'll get you some clippers. But some of the other required items that you definitely cannot live without, socks, shower shoes, clothes to wear in general, okay? All those items that are required. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but most of the time I can get away with wearing 1 to 2 uniforms a week based on what I'm doing. If I'm outside rolling around, doing whatever, getting dirty, okay, I'm definitely going to change. But if I'm doing a lot of administrative work, all right, uniform will last me, a week. But this individual literally only had 1 uniform. And I understand that, not everybody has the same pay grade as, the next person. So they may not be able to afford uniform items or whatnot. But we got this beautiful thing called clothing allowance. Clothing allowance happens, if I'm not mistaken, every other year on the even-numbered years that you have served. And the military will give you a fat little check to go ahead and replace any military clothing items that you need, or get new ones, whatever the case. So this individual only had the one uniform. He had like 2 pairs of socks. It was bad. So called up leadership, and, took note of the issues, sent them back with with escort personnel, and received a call. Call was from his leadership trying to figure out how he was missing all these things. Like, well, I can't tell you. We literally got him. We turned his bag upside down and went through the inventory, and that's what we found. This individual continued to, well, I just got back from leave, and this is the first I'm hearing about it. And isn't it his defense counsel's job to do all this? No. When is it ever the defense attorney's job to make sure that you have clothing or whatnot for if you get sentenced? There's nothing that says that whatsoever. Okay? Their job is in the legal realm, not to make sure that you have a washcloth and a towel. Alright, that's up to leadership. That's up to somebody in your unit to make sure that everything is good to go, hunky-dory, and whatnot. So this individual was passing the buck, proverbially, for a good 2-3 minutes. Some time passed. Remember's first sergeant stopped by and we had a chat. Heard he was missing some items. Yes. Have they been brought by yet? No. Now about 2.5 hours has lapsed from the initial call to when this first sergeant stopped by. Needless to say, she was not happy. No. So another, about 2 hours lapsed, and surprise, surprise, this individual who we called earlier in the morning showed up with all of the secondary requirement items: lip balm, nail clippers. He had socks, so hey, that's a win. But it's surprising. That's all. I myself have screwed up. I will openly admit that. I have faltered. And I took ownership. As far as my ownership was. I'm not going to take ownership of something I had no control over, but my piece of whatever I screwed up on, yeah. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I make sure, at least try to make sure, that everything I do is on time, maybe a bit ahead of schedule. And if it's not, I'm going to let that individual know, hey, this isn't going to work. I don't know what happened. Time got away from me, something. But I'm going to own that piece. So, any case, ownership. If you screw up, okay, hey, take your ass chewing, move forward. If nothing else, you'll be a better person of it. And if you do admit fault, who knows? Superiors may even look at you like, hey, all right, this individual isn't trying to pass the buck. We'll give him or her a second chance, whatever the case. All right. So that's my little morning, rant. Hopefully everybody has a great day. Halloween's next week. Whoop whoop. That means the candy tax is coming. Yeah. And until next time.